When you choose to be your true self, to follow your path, some people may not understand. They may judge, criticize, or even hate. But let them. Let them hate if they must, for their opinions don't define your worth, your dreams, or the beauty of your journey. Only you can decide what you carry in your heart. Your sense of self-worth is something that only you can define. It is not something that can be granted or taken away by the opinions of others, nor is it found in external achievements, validation, or approval. True self-worth is an inner knowing, a recognition that you are valuable simply because you exist. This inner understanding means that at your core, you are enough without having to prove or earn anything. Cultivating this deep sense of worth begins with a commitment to love and respect yourself fully, to be gentle with your perceived flaws and imperfections, and to celebrate your unique qualities and gifts. Too often, people look outside themselves for validation. They seek approval from others to feel valued, looking to friends, family, social media, and even society at large to provide them with a sense of self-worth. This can lead to a cycle of constantly chasing approval or performing in ways that align with others' expectations. But external validation is fleeting. It's unstable, always subject to change, and it can disappear as quickly as it arrives. Relying on it to define your self-worth is like building a house on sand. It lacks the foundation needed to stand strong when life's storms arise. Realizing that your worth is intrinsic and not something to be won is the first step toward breaking free from the need for external validation. When you accept that your self-worth comes from within, you give yourself permission to value your thoughts, feelings, and choices without needing others' validation. You no longer have to fit into anyone else's idea of what's worthy because you recognize that you are already complete. This acceptance doesn't mean you won't value relationships or appreciate constructive feedback, but it does mean that you won't let others' opinions dictate your sense of self. You begin to see your inner strength and beauty as constants that aren't altered by the fluctuating views of others. In building your self-worth, it's crucial to recognize that you are the one who knows yourself best. You understand your own experiences, challenges, and triumphs better than anyone else, which means that only you can truly judge your progress. Often, society sets arbitrary standards for what makes someone worthy or successful, but these standards don't take into account the unique paths each of us walk. By honoring your journey, your own goals, your growth, your resilience, you empower yourself to stand firm in your worth, regardless of what others might say or think. Self-worth is also a commitment to self-respect. When you understand your own value, you naturally start to set boundaries that honor and protect your well-being. You become less willing to accept toxic behavior or relationships that do not respect your worth. You begin to say no to what doesn't serve your highest good, recognizing that by doing so, you're saying yes to your well-being, to your peace, and to your happiness. Setting boundaries is not selfish, it's an act of self-care. When you respect yourself, you teach others how to respect you too, and you create an environment that nurtures rather than diminishes your self-worth. Embracing self-worth from within also involves self-compassion. We're often our own harshest critics, quick to point out our flaws and slow to forgive ourselves. But self-compassion allows you to treat yourself with kindness, understanding that everyone has moments of weakness or failure. Just as you would offer a friend empathy, extend the same grace to yourself. Self-compassion reminds you that mistakes don't define you, they are simply part of your journey. When you accept this, you can look at yourself with gentleness and begin to appreciate your resilience, growth, and strength, rather than focusing on perceived shortcomings. The journey to inner self-worth is not always easy. It often involves unlearning the belief that worth is something to be earned through achievements or approval. This journey is about understanding that you are inherently valuable and deserve love and respect as you are. It's about shedding the need to be perfect or to measure up to others' standards. When you root your sense of worth within, you no longer feel compelled to compare yourself to others, for you recognize that everyone's path is unique. Your worth is not a reflection of what others have or do not have, and it's not diminished or elevated by comparison. This inner knowing brings a sense of peace and freedom. Living from a place of self-worth allows you to approach life with confidence. You no longer feel the need to shrink yourself to fit in or to play small, to be accepted. You have the courage to be authentic, to speak your truth, and to pursue your passions without fear of judgment. You begin to see life as an opportunity to express your unique self rather than a stage for seeking approval. This shift empowers you to make choices aligned with your true self, knowing that you are worthy of happiness, success, and fulfillment simply because you exist. Ultimately, self-worth is a lifelong journey, a commitment to valuing and honoring yourself each day. As you continue to recognize that your worth comes from within, you build a strong foundation of love, respect, and acceptance for yourself. This inner strength becomes a source of resilience, helping you weather life's challenges with grace and reminding you that you are more than enough, just as you are. Embracing your intrinsic worth frees you to live fully and authentically, knowing that your value is unshakable, independent of anyone else's approval or validation. You are complete. The judgments others make about us often reveal more about their own inner world than they do about who we truly are. It's common to internalize others' criticisms or judgments, allowing them to influence our self-image and self-worth. But this can lead us away from our true selves. By understanding that people's opinions and criticisms frequently mirror their own insecurities, fears, and unresolved issues, we can begin to detach from their judgments and view them with compassion rather than defensiveness. When someone expresses a negative opinion or judgment, it's often because they're projecting something they feel within themselves. Imagine someone who criticizes others for being too ambitious. In reality, this person may have unresolved feelings of inadequacy about their own goals or might fear they haven't lived up to their potential. Their judgment then becomes a reflection of their self-perceived limitations rather than an objective assessment of someone else's choices. By recognizing this, we can begin to see that judgments aren't objective truths. They are shaped by the lens of each person's personal experiences and struggles. Another example might be someone who's quick to call others selfish or unkind. This judgment could stem from their own unresolved need for love and acceptance, which they perhaps didn't receive in a way that felt fulfilling. As a result, they become sensitive to others' actions and may see selfishness in places where it doesn't exist. Realizing that such judgments are born from unmet needs or emotional wounds can help us understand that the way someone judges us has little to do with us and more to do with their own inner battles. When we recognize that others' judgments often stem from their inner struggles, it allows us to practice compassion. Instead of feeling hurt or defensive, we can approach them with understanding and empathy. This doesn't mean excusing hurtful behavior, but understanding that it comes from a place of pain or misunderstanding. For instance, a person who criticizes others' relationships may have experienced deep relationship pain themselves. Recognizing that their words are a reflection of their hurt rather than a reflection of us helps us to maintain our peace and avoid taking their criticism personally. Moreover, understanding this concept enables us to set healthier emotional boundaries. When we know that judgments are often projections, we become less susceptible to letting them alter our self-worth or diminish our confidence. By maintaining a boundary between others' judgments and our self-perception, we protect ourselves from negative energy that doesn't belong to us. It becomes easier to stay true to who we are. regardless of how others may perceive us. Instead of absorbing someone else's criticism, we can remind ourselves that it speaks more to their worldview and personal struggles than to any flaw within ourselves. This perspective shift is particularly valuable in a world where social media and societal expectations often fuel judgments. People can project their own ideals, values, and insecurities onto others more publicly and with greater frequency than ever before. In this space, many judgments are made with limited understanding and are based on superficial interactions. Recognizing that online criticism and comparisons can be more about the commenter's own insecurities than about us can help us separate our sense of self from the often unrealistic expectations of others. In our personal lives, we can also apply this understanding to build stronger, more empathetic relationships. If someone close to us seems to judge us, it's worth considering whether they might be dealing with something internally that affects their perspective. Approaching them with empathy can sometimes soften the impact of their words and even open a space for healing. For instance, a friend who feels left out or lonely may judge us for spending time with others, but this reaction is likely a projection of their own feelings rather than a critique of our actions. By acknowledging their feelings without taking the judgment personally, we create room for connection and understanding. This insight also offers a path to self-empowerment. Once we understand that others' judgments don't define us, we're free to shape our own identity without fear of criticism or misunderstanding. We can move forward confidently, trusting our intuition and our choices because we know that others' perspectives are filtered through their unique set of life experiences. Embracing this freedom enables us to live authentically, letting go of the need to appease or conform to avoid judgment. Finally, when we accept that judgments are often reflections of internal struggles, we're reminded of the value of self-reflection. Just as others project their inner struggles outward, we might also be prone to judging others based on our own internal challenges. Recognizing this dynamic in ourselves fosters greater self-awareness and growth. By identifying when we're projecting, we can address our own issues rather than displacing them onto others. This insight encourages us to view both ourselves and others with more kindness and openness. In this light, others' judgments become less intimidating and more informative. They remind us to stay grounded in our own truth and to cultivate self-acceptance. They also encourage us to look inward, questioning why we might judge others and working to resolve our own internal struggles. In doing so, we free ourselves from the weight of external opinions, developing a sense of self that's both resilient and compassionate. Instead of letting others' judgments define us, we learn to define ourselves. Releasing the need for approval from others is one of the most liberating acts of self-empowerment. It allows you to step fully into who you are without the pressure to conform to someone else's expectations. Seeking approval is natural as social beings. We are wired to seek acceptance, belonging, and affirmation from those around us. However, this can lead to a cycle of dependency, where our self-worth becomes tied to the opinions of others, making us vulnerable to feelings of inadequacy whenever external validation is lacking or critical. Breaking free from this need is not only possible, it's essential to living authentically and with inner peace. When you rely on approval to feel secure or valued, you place your happiness in others' hands. This can mean bending yourself to meet others' standards or sacrificing your own dreams to fit into a mold that doesn't reflect who you truly are. By constantly seeking approval, you deny yourself the full experience of self-discovery and self-acceptance. Life becomes about performance rather than authenticity, and the pressure to receive validation can drain your energy and leave you feeling unfulfilled. Approval can be gratifying in the moment, but if it's your primary source of self-worth, it creates a dependency that keeps you from knowing and accepting yourself. Approval Approval seeking often starts early in life. From childhood, we may be conditioned to believe that pleasing others is how we achieve security or gain affection. While positive reinforcement can be helpful in guiding behavior, it can also create a mindset that approval is the ultimate reward. Carrying this mindset into adulthood means that choices, big or small, can feel less about personal fulfillment and more about keeping others happy or maintaining a particular image. Realizing that you no longer need to seek approval from others frees you to make choices based on your values and passions. Releasing the need for approval is not about rejecting feedback or relationships. Rather, it's about redefining your relationship with yourself. It's about prioritizing self-acceptance over external affirmation. When you accept yourself fully, flaws and all, you build a foundation of confidence that does not waver with others' opinions. This doesn't mean you won't value others' input or appreciate constructive feedback, but it does mean you will be less dependent on it for your sense of worth. You come to understand that your value doesn't decrease based on whether others approve or agree with you. This shift can lead to a remarkable sense of freedom. Imagine the release you would feel if you stopped overanalyzing your words, appearance, or actions, wondering if they'll be accepted or validated. Without the weight of others' expectations, you're free to pursue the things that truly matter to you, even if they're unconventional or misunderstood by others. This kind of freedom brings you closer to your authentic self, allowing you to make choices from a place of inner clarity rather than external pressure. Letting go of the need for approval also means being prepared to stand alone when necessary. It's recognizing that there may be times when your choices or beliefs won't be popular or supported, and being okay with that. Being true to yourself sometimes requires resilience and courage to hold firm in your convictions even in the face of disapproval. This strength allows you to trust in yourself, knowing that you are capable of navigating life's challenges without relying on others' endorsement. In this sense, releasing the need for approval is not only about freedom, it's about cultivating a deeper self-trust. One of the greatest gifts of letting go of approval seeking is the peace it brings. Approval-based living is often accompanied by anxiety, self-doubt, and insecurity. But when you no longer need others to validate you, your energy shifts inward. You become more attuned to your inner guidance and less reactive to others' judgments or criticisms. This inner peace becomes a guiding force that keeps you grounded and centered, regardless of external opinions. It gives you the clarity to make choices that align with your true self, cultivating a sense of wholeness and contentment that is unaffected by outside validation. In the process of releasing approval seeking, you also begin to see relationships differently. Instead of forming connections based on trying to win acceptance, you start to attract people who resonate with your authentic self. You no longer need to hide parts of yourself or alter your behavior to fit in, and this honesty fosters deeper, more genuine connections. These relationships are not built on the shifting sands of approval, but on mutual respect and acceptance. The friends and partners you choose when you don't need their approval are those who love you for who you are, rather than for who you pretend to be. This journey of releasing the need for approval may feel uncomfortable at first, as it involves stepping out of familiar patterns and beliefs, but the rewards are immense. Each time you make a decision without seeking validation, you reclaim a piece of your independence. Each time you express yourself freely without fear of judgment, you strengthen your sense of self. Over time, you realize that you're capable of standing on your own, confident in who you are and what you bring to the world. You stop looking outside yourself for worth, finding it instead in your unique qualities, values, and life experiences. Ultimately, releasing the need for approval is a profound act of self-love. It's choosing to live for yourself, embracing your path, and trusting in your inner wisdom. It's an acknowledgement that you are worthy, whole, and enough, exactly as you are. This doesn't mean that you'll never value others' opinions, but rather that they won't define you. In letting go of approval seeking, you give yourself permission to live fully, authentically, and unapologetically, grounded in the knowledge that your worth comes from within, unshaken by external validation. Self-love is one of the most powerful forms of protection we can cultivate. When we genuinely love ourselves, we create a foundation of inner strength that shields us from external negativity, criticism, and insecurity. It's a nurturing force that empowers us to stand strong in who we are, regardless of what others say or think. Self-love isn't selfish or conceited. It's an act of deep care and respect for ourselves, which in turn allows us to live more authentically and connect with others in healthier, more fulfilling ways. When we practice self-love, we develop a sense of resilience. Life is full of challenges and setbacks, and people often express judgments or opinions that can make us question our worth. But with a core of self-love, we become less susceptible to these external influences. We stop letting others' perceptions dictate our self-image because we know our own value. In situations where we might once have felt hurt or inadequate, self-love reminds us that we are already enough just as we are. It becomes a protective barrier that helps us keep negativity at a distance and stay rooted in our own truth. Self-love also helps us set healthy boundaries. Loving yourself means knowing what you will and won't tolerate in relationships, work, and life. Boundaries are essential because they signal to others how we expect to be treated and show respect for our own needs and values. When we don't value ourselves, we might allow others to take advantage of us or drain our energy, fearing that we need their approval or acceptance to feel whole. But with self-love, we recognize that we deserve relationships that are mutually respectful and supportive. This awareness empowers us to say no to situations that don't serve our well-being, giving us the freedom to focus on what truly nourishes us. Another way self-love protects us is by fostering self-compassion. Life is full of ups and downs, and we all make mistakes. Without self-love, we might criticize ourselves harshly, internalizing failures or setbacks as proof that we're not good enough. But when we practice self-compassion, we approach these moments with kindness and understanding. We recognize that mistakes are a natural part of growth, not a reflection of our worth. This perspective allows us to learn from our experiences rather than dwelling in guilt or shame. Self-love thus becomes a source of healing, allowing us to release self-judgment and grow stronger with each lesson life brings. Moreover, self-love protects us by helping us trust our intuition. When we don't love or trust ourselves, we may second-guess our decisions or allow others to influence us in ways that don't align with our values. This can lead to a life where we are constantly seeking validation or trying to please others at our own expense. But self-love empowers us to listen to our inner voice. It encourages us to make choices based on what feels right for us rather than what others think we should do. By trusting ourselves, we navigate life with a sense of confidence and purpose, unshaken by others' opinions or expectations. In a world that often promotes comparison and competition, self-love serves as a buffer against the urge to compare ourselves to others. It's easy to get caught up in measuring our worth based on what others have achieved, their looks, or their lifestyle. But self-love reminds us that our worth is not contingent on comparison. Each person is unique with their own path, talents, and timing. By focusing on our own journey and celebrating our individuality, we protect ourselves from feelings of inadequacy or envy. Self-love allows us to admire others without diminishing ourselves, fostering a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. Furthermore, self-love helps us to cultivate inner peace. When we accept and appreciate ourselves as we are, we free ourselves from the constant need to prove ourselves to others. We no longer feel compelled to change who we are to fit into someone else's idea of success or beauty. This acceptance brings a deep sense of contentment that is unaffected by external circumstances. Life may still bring its challenges, but with self-love, we can face them with a sense of inner calm. This peace is a powerful form of protection, as it helps us maintain our balance and well-being even when the world around us is chaotic. Self-love also encourages us to take care of our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. When we value ourselves, we're more likely to prioritize our health, rest, and happiness. We understand that self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. By nurturing our body and mind, we create a solid foundation from which we can navigate life's demands more effectively. Self-care practices such as mindfulness, exercise, and connecting with loved ones become acts of self-love that protect our overall health and resilience, giving us the energy and clarity we need to handle whatever life brings. Finally, self-love empowers us to embrace our imperfections. Society often pressures us to be flawless, but perfectionism can lead to self-criticism and anxiety. When we love ourselves, we accept that we are human, with strengths and weaknesses, successes and failures. This acceptance makes us stronger because we are no longer chasing an impossible standard. Instead, we celebrate our progress and growth, knowing that we are worthy of love and respect as we are. This sense of acceptance and wholeness is the ultimate protection, as it allows us to stand tall, free from the fear of judgment. In embracing self-love as protection, we find a source of strength that no one can take away from us. It allows us to move through life with confidence, resilience, and peace, unshaken by the ups and downs. Self-love empowers us to live authentically, to set boundaries, and to pursue our dreams without fear of failure or rejection. It teaches us that we are worthy of respect and kindness both from ourselves and from others. Through self-love, we become our own sanctuary, a place of comfort and strength that allows us to weather any storm and emerge even stronger. Separating yourself from others' opinions is a vital skill that fosters personal growth and emotional well-being. In a world dominated by social media and constant feedback, it's easy to find ourselves overly influenced by the thoughts and judgments of those around us. However, when we learn to distinguish our self-worth from others' perceptions, we empower ourselves to live more authentically and pursue our true passions without fear of judgment. Understanding that others' opinions often reflect their own beliefs, insecurities, and experiences is crucial in this journey. Each individual sees the world through their own unique lens, shaped by their upbringing, personal struggles, and life experiences. Their perceptions are not absolute truths, they are simply reflections of their reality. When we recognize this, we can start to understand that the criticisms or praise we receive are not definitive measures of our worth. Instead of internalizing these opinions, we can choose to observe them as just one perspective among many. One significant step in separating ourselves from others' opinions is to cultivate self-awareness. Self-awareness allows us to explore our thoughts, feelings, and motivations without the filter of external judgment. It involves asking ourselves questions like, what do I truly believe, or what do I want? By understanding our own values and desires, we create a solid foundation that enables us to stand firm in our identity, regardless of what others may think. This internal compass guides us in making choices that align with our authentic selves, rather than being swayed by the opinions of others. Building self-esteem is another essential aspect of this process. When we have a strong sense of self-worth, we are less likely to be affected by others' views. Self-esteem is nurtured through self-acceptance and self-love. By acknowledging our strengths and celebrating our achievements, we reinforce our value independent of external validation. Engaging in positive self-talk, practicing gratitude, and surrounding ourselves with supportive people can also enhance our self-esteem. When we truly appreciate ourselves, the opinions of others lose their power to diminish our self-worth. Practicing mindfulness is an effective way to distance ourselves from the noise of external opinions. Mindfulness encourages us to focus on the present moment and become aware of our thoughts without judgment. This practice helps us recognize when we are becoming overly absorbed in others' perceptions and gently redirects our attention back to ourselves. By anchoring ourselves in the present, we learn to observe our thoughts and feelings without letting them define us. This mindfulness practice can serve as a powerful tool for detaching from others' opinions, allowing us to respond to criticism or praise with a sense of clarity and composure. Another essential strategy is to set healthy boundaries. This involves not only recognizing the opinions we want to allow into our lives, but also determining the sources of those opinions. While feedback can be valuable, we must be discerning about who we listen to and why. Surrounding ourselves with positive, supportive individuals who uplift us can significantly reduce the impact of negative opinions. By choosing to engage with those who appreciate and understand us, we can cultivate a nurturing environment that fosters our growth. In contrast, distancing ourselves from toxic relationships and environments where criticism and judgment are prevalent can shield us from external negativity. Additionally, it's essential to embrace our individuality. Each person is unique, and that uniqueness is what makes life rich and diverse. When we celebrate our differences, we shift our focus from conforming to others' expectations to embracing who we are. Engaging in activities that bring us joy and fulfillment, whether it's pursuing a hobby, exploring creative outlets, or cultivating our passions, reinforces our individuality. The more we invest in ourselves, the more we realize that our worth does not hinge on others' approval. This empowerment allows us to stand firm in our beliefs and choices, even in the face of opposition. It's also important to recognize the impermanence of opinions. People's perspectives can change, sometimes based on fleeting emotions or experiences. What one person thinks about us today may not be relevant tomorrow. By understanding that opinions are often transient, we can distance ourselves from their weight. This perspective encourages us to prioritize our self-perception over the ever-shifting judgments of others. The freedom that comes from recognizing this transience allows us to live more authentically, as we no longer feel tethered to the need for consistent validation. Engaging in self-reflection can help reinforce this sense of autonomy. Taking time to journal or meditate on our experiences, thoughts, and feelings can illuminate the ways in which we allow others' opinions to shape our self-image. Self-reflection encourages us to ask ourselves hard questions. Am I pursuing this career path for myself or to meet someone else's expectations? Or do I truly believe in this belief? Or am I simply echoing what others have told me? This introspection helps us reclaim our identity, empowering us to live according to our values rather than those imposed by others. As we learn to separate ourselves from others' opinions, we create a more resilient mindset. We recognize that criticism is not a personal attack, but rather a reflection of someone else's perspective. With this understanding, we can respond to feedback constructively, using it to inform our growth rather than allowing it to diminish our self-worth. This resilience enables us to navigate challenges and setbacks with grace and confidence, knowing that we are capable of overcoming obstacles, regardless of what others may say. Ultimately, separating ourselves from others' opinions leads to a life rooted in authenticity and self-acceptance. It allows us to pursue our passions, connect deeply with others, and experience life on our own terms. As we cultivate this separation, we find the freedom to express ourselves fully, embrace our individuality, and chart our own path. In doing so, we not only protect our self-worth, but also empower ourselves to live a life that is rich with purpose, fulfillment, and joy. By choosing to honor our truth over others' judgments, we unlock the door to a more vibrant, authentic existence. Living authentically and unshakably is a profound journey toward embracing who you truly are, regardless of external circumstances or societal expectations. It requires a commitment to self-awareness, self-acceptance, and a courageous willingness to express your true self. When you live authentically, you honor your values, beliefs, and passions, allowing you to experience life more fully and meaningfully. At the heart of authentic living is self-awareness. Understanding yourself, your strengths, weaknesses, desires, and fears is the foundation upon which authenticity is built. Self-awareness allows you to identify what truly matters to you and what makes you unique. It involves reflection and introspection, taking the time to explore your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Journaling, meditation, or simply spending time in nature can help you connect with your inner self. By fostering this awareness, you develop a clearer understanding of your identity, enabling you to make choices that resonate with your true self. Self-acceptance is another crucial aspect of living authentically. It involves embracing all parts of yourself, including the aspects you may perceive as flaws or weaknesses. Accepting yourself means acknowledging that you are a work in progress and that imperfection is a natural part of being human. When you practice self-acceptance, you stop seeking validation from others, recognizing that your worth is inherent and not contingent upon external approval. This shift in perspective liberates you from the pressure to conform to societal standards, allowing you to stand tall in your uniqueness. Courage plays a significant role in living authentically. It takes bravery to express your true self, especially in a world that often encourages conformity. Fear of judgment or rejection can be paralyzing, but when you embrace your authenticity, you realize that the opinions of others do not define your worth. It's essential to remember that everyone is navigating their own struggles, and their judgments often reflect their insecurities rather than your reality. By recognizing this, you can cultivate the courage to share your thoughts, feelings, and passions openly, allowing your authentic self to shine. Another vital element of authentic living is aligning your actions with your values. When you understand what matters most to you, you can make choices that reflect those values. This alignment creates a sense of integrity and harmony within yourself, allowing you to navigate life with confidence. For example, if you value creativity, you might pursue a career that allows you to express that creativity rather than conforming to a more traditional or expected path. Living in alignment with your values not only enhances your sense of self, but also contributes to a deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose. Building resilience is also essential for living authentically and unshakably. Life will inevitably present challenges, setbacks, and criticisms. When you encounter these obstacles, your ability to remain true to yourself will be tested. Resilience is the capacity to bounce back from difficulties while maintaining your core identity. It involves cultivating a mindset that embraces challenges as opportunities for growth rather than threats to your authenticity. By developing resilience, you equip yourself with the tools to navigate adversity without compromising who you are. Surrounding yourself with supportive relationships is another critical component of living authentically. Seek out individuals who uplift and encourage you to be your true self. These relationships create a nurturing environment that fosters your growth and self-expression. When you surround yourself with like-minded individuals who appreciate your authenticity, You cultivate a sense of belonging that reinforces your commitment to living unapologetically. Conversely, distancing yourself from toxic relationships that undermine your self-worth can create the space needed for your authentic self to flourish. Practicing mindfulness can also enhance your ability to live authentically. Mindfulness encourages you to be present in each moment, allowing you to observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. This practice cultivates a deeper connection to your inner self, helping you identify when you are straying from your authentic path. Mindfulness allows you to recognize and release limiting beliefs or patterns that may have been imposed upon you by society. By being present, you can make conscious choices that align with your true self rather than reacting impulsively to external pressures. In addition to mindfulness, embracing vulnerability is essential for authentic living. Vulnerability allows you to express your true feelings, desires, and fears without fear of judgment. It requires courage to be open and honest about who you are, but this openness fosters deeper connections with others. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you create space for genuine relationships built on trust and understanding. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it is a strength that enables you to show up as your authentic self, inviting others to do the same. Living authentically also involves being proactive in pursuing your passions. Engage in activities that ignite your spirit and bring you joy. Whether it's painting, writing, dancing, or any other form of self-expression, allowing yourself the freedom to explore your interests enhances your sense of self. When you engage in what you love, you reinforce your commitment to living authentically, reminding yourself that your passions are integral to your identity. Finally, remember that living authentically is a continuous journey. It requires ongoing self-reflection, growth, and a willingness to evolve. As you navigate life, your understanding of yourself may change, and that's okay. Embrace the journey, allowing yourself to grow and adapt, while remaining true to your core values and beliefs. Celebrate your progress and acknowledge the courage it takes to live authentically in a world that often encourages conformity. In conclusion, living authentically and unshakably is a transformative journey that empowers you to embrace your true self. By cultivating self-awareness, practicing self-acceptance, and surrounding yourself with supportive relationships, you can navigate life with confidence and purpose. As you develop resilience, mindfulness, and vulnerability, you reinforce your commitment to authenticity, allowing your true self to shine brightly. Remember, authenticity is not a destination, but a continuous process of growth and self-discovery. Embrace the journey and live unapologetically as the unique individual you are meant to be.